Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Torah Lishma, learning Torah Lishma. When we talk about friendship, and friendship is so essential to life, one needs to understand what friendship is. And there's an amazing teaching in the Gemara, in the Talmud, and it says like this: when if your chaver, if your friend steals from you, then such and such and such. And I always understood it that the Gemara is just trying to be super positive. It's trying to, it's just trying to stay away from negativity, and therefore they're using the word friend. But when I thought deeper into it, I realized that the Gemara actually means friend. And when I said this to my mother was like, "What do you mean? How is that person a friend? They steal from you." So I explained. It's going to take a moment. So that uh, we probably all know someone that they're very geschmack. They're very you like their presence, but they have one problem. If you leave the wallet on the table, they take it. So in the understanding of the Gemara, the way our holy sages thought, which they thought their level of positivity was so high, it's something hard for us to understand. But to them, if the person didn't hate you, if you didn't hate them, then that's your friend. It could be 1% your friend, it could be 2% your friend, it could be 1% of 1% your friend, but if the person didn't hate you, then we call that person a friend. And this comes to teach us that there are different levels to friend. There's 1%, 2%, there's someone that's 50%, there's someone that's 100% that literally you're very in sync with each other and that you understand, you think similar. The Gemara's teachings are so powerful. Chaver the chaver islay. You understand? What do you mean they're gossiping about you? They don't hate you? In the Chazal's eyes, their high level of positivity was if the person doesn't hate you, then they're a friend. There's a lot to get into it, but I want to focus on what we're trying to bring out. There's a lot to get into this sugya, this a, a person needs to understand what level of friendship can I have with this person. Meaning, if you you both think you're both nice people, but you think the opposite way, then you could be friends from a distance, but you can't be close friends. Why? Because when she thinks something, you think the opposite. When he thinks something, you think the opposite. So there's it's you uh, you can't you're always arguing. You understand? There's always disagreement. There's always we could agree to disagree. That's not you. That person cannot be your close friend. So when you see that the way you think is very different than the way your friend thinks, then you know that you two have to be friends from a distance. You shouldn't be hanging out with each other. And when you find someone that you basically think the same way, you're very similar, then that's a person that you should make your close friend. And this is what people are missing out on this. Uh, they say, oh, this person's funny. They're a nice person. It's not enough. You have to think similar. You have to be similar. Uh, When you think something, because remember, um, in 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 most areas of life, there are different pathways. You understand? There are things that everybody should agree on. You understand? Don't kill, don't steal, don't commit adultery. There are things that everybody can, agree upon, and there's no two ways about it. But most things in life, there are different ways, and and in and therefore, you're both right. You understand? There's this method of going about it, and there's that method of going about it, and therefore, uh, just because they're a nice, funny person is not that's or it's just because that's the person that's in your room, that's the person you met. You have to be a little now. If you met some just that was a person in your room and they fit your nature, amazing, amazing. You understand? But the thing is that people still make their close friends and they want to become close friends with someone when that you can't be a close friend to them. They can't be a close friend with you because you're too different. Now, someone could say, "Listen, I want to get close to President Trump. I want to be someone that could be his close friend." You could change yourself and then you could do that. So that's also another option. So people have to understand what friendship is. When people begin to start understanding what friendship is and that there's different levels and understanding that you need to pick someone that basically comes up with the same things as you, the same end result, the way they think, the way they process, they it's very similar to you, then that's someone that you could be with harmonious with, peaceful with. You understand? That's someone that could be a relationship, whether it's friends, whether it's marriage, whether it's the connection to your sons and daughters. You understand? Sometimes you could be close to them. Sometimes it's better that you're not because you're always arguing with them. You're always disagreeing. You're always saying something else when they're trying to bring out their point. You think it should be something else, and you can't just be quiet and fake it. The friendship is you communicate. You could change, or you could just say, "Listen, we think too differently, so let's be friends from a bit of a distance." That is true wisdom. We talk about in our shiurim, our Jewish classes, a lot about uh, different, when we talk about one thing, we could bring in many other topics at the same time. And that is to give people broad understanding. And you need to have broad understanding to explain something. And therefore, automatically, you bring in other things. You understand? It's extremely important that one, that a person should hear truths. What does this mean? It's so sad. There's so many people today that I'm just like, if they only would hear the truth, right? It would change their whole life because half the battle is the knowledge that the battle exists and what's happening. You understand? If you don't know that anything's happening, there's a sickness brewing up in your body, but you only see it on the surface a week before death, before the person dies. You understand? So you need to the if they just took uh, a blood test, they would see it. You understand? They would see it in the markers. So people need to understand that the fact that they heard the truth in a clear, concise way, in a loving way, in an authentic way, in its truth form, with mercy. You don't have to petrify people. Some people need petrifying. Understand? I'm saying in general. That's why in Judaism there's 11 months of bliss and 1 month El. That's when the talks. That's when you talk serious. But for 11 months, it's love, it's affection, it's trying to get them to connect to Hashem, and then El is the hard, the good cop, bad cop. The bad cop is 1 month a year, and a person needs that also. You understand? That helps them grow as well. Not that you have 11 months a bad cop and then in El there's a good cop. No, no, no. A good cop for 11 months, and let's say it's a leap year for 12 months, and then 1 month. Just think about it. When it's a double year, then you have two Adars. So you understand, the more positivity, the better. You understand? Uh, So that's how it works. It's important. So it's so sad because I look around and I'm like, if people only heard the truth once in their life, their whole trajectory could be completely different. It would be changed. But the people that they're listening to don't have this wisdom. They don't have it. And there are certain things, uh, you know, that there's certain things to different people that no matter how you say it, it comes across to them as harsh. But most things, there's a way to explain it with such, precision, and show the blessing of it and how you're supposed to care about people, that it there's that you could have someone else that's bringing over that same point, and it will take the person 100 years to change. But if you bring it out in the right way, the person could instantly change. It would instantly make a difference. Will they become perfect? Probably not, but there will be an instant change, and a life change, and a life trajectory change. So people need to understand this. People need to understand this. And uh, you need to stop listening to the fluff. You need to listen to someone that is telling you the raw truth, the real truth, and is giving you practical advice how to go about things, because, like, what are you supposed to do? You understand? It's extremely important. And that's what we try to do on this shear. Uh, we're trying to make it clear. Sometimes, I go too clear. And I should mix in, I should, you know, uh, bring it out in a slower, and put in some stories and different things to make it more palpable. I'm very limited on my time, so it's more direct, and just coming out of that's also more my nature. You understand? But we try to do the best we can. This is extremely important for people, for a person, and hopefully with us listening to truths. Let me explain what it means to listen to a truth. You know, even if someone didn't want to hear the truth, but however it happened, they heard it. It changed them. It made them a better person forever. Let me just give a mashal, a parable. Imagine someone told you, someone says, I can make you rich. And the person's like, no, no, I don't want to be rich. I want to be poor. I want to live under the bridge. I want to live, paycheck to paycheck. And you're like, I don't care. I'm going to scream it and you're going to hear how I'm going to make you rich. If you go out of your house and to the right, you make 20 steps and you dig 5 feet down, there is a chest of gold and silver and diamonds. So even if the person didn't want to hear what you had to say, the fact that there's a chest there changed their life forever. And that is what good wisdom, when you're around people that have worked on themselves to, first of all, figure out the true wisdom and then to try to give it over in the best way possible. And it's hard when you're not speaking to someone because different people need different things. You understand? Some people need more direct. Some people need a lot of stories. People, you know, so you try to, mix the two. You understand? But, you know, at the end of the day, a person has to really want to work on themselves to change because there'll always be excuses. You understand? I didn't like the way the person said it. It wasn't. I don't see why they're right. This that. You understand? But if you thought about what they said, then you would figure it out. But you don't take out time to think about what they're saying. You just automatically think that they're wrong because of a very superficial reason. But if you just took 10 minutes, you would realize why they're right. And many times you would say, wait a second, that's what they said. And they actually did address my question by the way they said it, the way they spoke, the way they brought it out. And you can't ask every question in the world. So you when you say the words, you say it in a way that it's answering as many questions as possible. So this is extremely important for people to understand. First of all, understanding that there's different level friends, and for you have to have different level. You have to know that this person I could be a close friend with, this person, a friend from a bit of a distance. Sometimes you have to be the friendship has to be more than a little bit of a distance. You understand? And understanding that we need to hear true wisdom. We can't just go in our lives and when we're like 80 we hear a few true wisdoms. We have to hear it young. You understand? Because that the true wisdom will protect you, will save you, will help you tremendously in life. May we all take the great wisdom from our great God Hashem, and may He be a source of blessing, and may His wisdom be upon us. I love and Hashem loves you more.